Cornette talking about it because a few fans said, "Hey, did you hear his comments?" And he said, "I don't get the roll before the Rolling Thunder." Well, admittedly, that wasn't the best Rolling Thunder. I did the roll, and my momentum kind of stopped.
So, Seth.
What up, Seth?
Our music man, Seth. He does music. So what you're saying is, don't toss someone a chair in a street fight and expect them to catch it and hold it in front of their face. Now, I said a couple weeks ago that instinctively, that's what you would, if somebody throws something at you, you would try to catch it, I think. So
maybe, now if you're a studied fighter and you've watched your opponent and you've seen him throw the chair at 2 or 3 people, and every time they catch it, he kicks it, you might be more ready for it. It's okay. If he throws it at me, I'm not going to catch it, Yeah,
I'm going to move.
You're going to duck it or something. Yeah. But I always say, if you don't catch it, I'm just going to kick you in the face anyway. At least you get like a shield. But I do feel, honestly, like deep inside, when I talk about where wrestling has gone now, where it comes across less competitive and more of guys working together to get these moves that could never come off without them working together. I feel like, in a not so proud way, that I kind of helped bridge that gap, because I feel like people can always, and I'm surprised they don't. Surprised people they don't always come back to, yeah, but dude, you threw a chair and the guy would catch it, because I get that. I get that side of the argument, and you've already heard what we both say to that. But to go from there to where it is now, where, I'm going to pick you up and then jump over you, and then I'll land underneath you, and then don't worry about it, I'll sell it. Like, what? Wait, who's doing what to who? Like, to me, the Canadian Destroyer is a perfect example of that. Before they do the Canadian Destroyer, here's a question for the chat room. Before they do it, a lot of times they're standing on the second rope, and then they jump down, right? And they land, boom. And they land, and they got the guy like in a pile driver, powerbomb position. And then they go into a sunset flip. And then the guy that's standing, flips, rolls back, flips, whatever. My question is, what does bouncing off of the rope do? I don't get it. It's not like they bounce. It's not like they're going for height. It's not like they use their momentum. They jump down and then boom, they stop and do a sunset flip. I don't get it. If anybody gets that, wrong answers only. No, seriously, I would love to fucking know. When I had my match with Jack Perry, I remember Cornette talking about it because a few fans said, "Hey, did you hear his comments?" And he said, "I don't get the roll before the Rolling Thunder." Well, admittedly, that wasn't the best Rolling Thunder. I did the roll, and my momentum kind of stopped, and then I had to jump into the move. And the people popped because they recognized it. But I can admit, I rolled, I stopped. I didn't mean to. I just didn't get. I was afraid that my feet were going to be stopped by him being too close to me. And so I'm trying to roll extra tight. And in that, I took my momentum, and instead of exerting it, I sucked it in, into where I had to finish the move. I feel like every time someone jumps off the rope into that fucking Canadian Destroyer, that they're purposely jumping, stopping, and then going through the move. And I don't get it. I don't get the move anyway. I really don't like it. It's representative of the whole new kind of wrestling that says, hey, let's both hit the same rope. I don't get that. You hit the rope, and then I'll go and hit the same rope and then run by you. And I don't get any of that. That's all bundled together in my mind and my peers, my generation's minds of shit that, like, nah, we wouldn't have done that back in the day for a reason, because we don't like it.
Do you feel the same way about the Spanish Fly too? Or,
Yep.
That move? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, there's that moment you mentioned it, the Canadian Destroyer, where they stop. And it's not a momentum thing. I was kind of thinking of, maybe it's the momentum. But now that I think about it, no, they stop and then they flip. It's like there's that pause. It doesn't make sense.
I don't get it. I don't get it. and wrestling has gone that way to go to the extreme direction. All this death wrestling, trash stuff, right? It's like I've always said, they use dangerous, crazy high spots to actually literally take place of the wrestling. So, I see on Instagram, like on like one move reels a lot of times and shit like that. And sometimes it's just like, oh my God, like why would anybody fucking do that? But almost always when there's a high jump, there's no move. There'll be like two guys and they grab each other and they both look down and they both kind of like jump and then like go through a bunch of light bulbs and wood. And then I'm like, what was that about? Like what? I don't get it. I mean, it's because they're not wrestling. There's not a move there. It's not one of them doing a move to the other one. And I'm mentioning like an extreme case that's a lot more recognizable. But I see that in a lot of the in-ring wrestling nowadays with the young guys, moves that look like that to me, where it's kind of more like, wait, you both got each other around the neck. You both jump up. You both land on your knees. One of you sells it, one doesn't. I'm so confused. Yeah.